This is the Jocko Underground Podcast number 109. I'm sitting with Echo Charles EC in the house. So I said something the other day I want to share with the people.
Sure.
Our people. Think strategic, which you probably heard me say 1,000 times, right? Yeah. In fact, you made a clip of it because at the few musters ago, it was actually probably quite a few musters ago, and some guy, during the Q&A, some guy says, how often should I be thinking strategic? Because we had done a presentation talking about thinking strategic instead of tactically. Strategic is long-term, tactically short-term. The guy says, how often should I be thinking strategic? And I said, you should be thinking strategic all the time. And I got all fired up and blah, blah, blah. Right, so cool. We've driven that point for the last few years.
Yeah.
I said something the other day, though, with a group. I said, think strategic, act tactically. Mm. Tactical action. Why is that? Okay, so we get that we need to think long-term, strategic about everything that you're doing, about your health. Yeah. Right? You need to think strategic about your health, because short-term thinking for health is like, oh, I'm going to eat this donut, or I'm going to, get on this freaking steroid or whatever that's going to get me totally jacked, and I'm going to die at 44 years old, right? That's not a long-term solution. No. Relationships. Oh, I can win this argument right now, but now have a bad relationship. So there's all the time, everything that we're thinking about, we need to think strategic long-term. But here's the thing. Here's why thinking strategic, we need to also act tactically, because people have a tendency not to act. They have a tendency not to do anything. They have a tendency not to do the day-to-day tactical things that they need to do in order to win and accomplish the long-term strategic mission. Look, this is so obvious, right? It's so obvious. But it's something that I found that this connection is being helpful with people. Because I tell you, hey, you need to think strategic. Cool. You start thinking strategic. Great. Now you're thinking. Mm-hmm. You're thinking about, I'm going to do this financially. I'm going to get in this health condition. And you're thinking about it. I'm going to improve my relationships. Those are my strategic goals. Great. Mm-hmm. You have those strategic goals. That's awesome. And you need to be thinking that way. Because if you're only thinking short term, then it's like, I'm just going to eat this donut. I'm just going to spend this money and put it get this new, what's the newest kind of television set? Like LED? No, there's something beyond LED now. I don't know. LMEO or something like this.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So I'm going to get the LMEO TV set. Just it's $3,200. I don't have that money right now, but I'm just going to put it on my credit card because I want immediate gratification. Yeah. So there's all these things that we can, if we just think tactically, boom, you're just failing. You're not going to end up where you want to end up. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, you got to think strategic. Great. Now we got people thinking, but they're not doing the right things. They're not behaving tactically the way they need to behave tactically, the action they need to take today. So that's what we need to do. Think strategic, act tactically. Write down what those strategic goals are. Write them down. Review them. You can review them every day. Listen, do you need to review them every day? You don't necessarily need to if they're front of mind in your mind anyways. If you have consistent long-term strategic goals, like I don't need to wake up every day and say like, be healthy. I don't need to read that. That's inherent in my existence strategic goal is be healthy. Yeah. I don't need to wake up every day and be like, I need to watch my money. I need to be frugal. I don't need to do that. I'm already frugal. It already takes me an extended amount of effort to blow some money. Yeah. I'm getting a little better at it, but it's like, it's hard. I'll research the dumbest thing and 9 different types of that dumb thing before I'm like, all right, I think this is the one. What did I do that with?
Well, when you buy something?
When I buy something. It's like, I don't know which is the best cheese grater. Let me read the reviews. Let me see how this one works. This one's not good with, if you're doing salad, the chunks are a little big, but it's good for a pizza thing. This one does well. You see what I'm saying? I can spend the time wasted. I can actually waste time. But I don't need to wake up and tell myself, hey, you need to watch your money. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't need to do that. That's part of my existence.
Yeah.
I don't need to wake up and be like, I need to make sure I have good relationships with my wife and my kids and the people I work with. I don't need to tell myself that. That's inherent in my life.
Yeah.
But if you're new to the game and you've been doing a short-term game for the last 5, 6, 7, 12, 15 years, you've been like, that's why you're kind of treading water. Yeah. And we don't want to be treading water. Treading water is, treading water is better than drowning, but you're not making progress towards the shore where you can have coconuts.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Where you can be on the beach. You can relax. If we're only treading water, eventually we're going to drown. You need to make progress. So you got to look to the seashore and go, oh, I see palm trees. I see a beach. I'm going there. I might be making slow progress, but I'm making progress. Yeah. If we're just looking around treading water, it ain't going to work out.
Yeah.
So if you have to write down the fact, hey, listen, I want to be more financially secure. I want to build a better relationship. I want to be healthy. Whatever these are 3 really like kind of prominent goals that human beings have. Yeah. If you got to write those down, cool. And then you got to write down the tactical moves that you need to do today, like no donuts. Yeah. If you're the type of person that's been eating a donut when it's in the office every day for the past 18 years, 14 years, 12 years, 30 years, you might need to write that down and review it in the morning. Listen. No sugar-coated lies. Don't eat donuts. Boom. You might need to write that down. Mm-hmm. So there's some people that they're a donut, like they get uneasy if there's a donut in the next room. They're like, yo. Yeah. So depending on where you're at, you might have to write this stuff down. The strategic goals, you might also have to write down your tactical goals. But that's what you need to do. You need to think strategic, and then you need to act tactically. Think strategic thinking, tactical action if you want to move towards the shore where you can have a coconut and you can get some sunshine and you're not going to drown. That's where we're at.
Yeah, that's I don't think that's like a natural thing. Like you kind of got to go on. It's not an automatic thing, so it's like you got to kind of put the mode on manual. You know, like remember I told you I don't forget when, but
cruise control doesn't work. Cruise control is like gonna drive you off the road.
Yeah. So actually, you know what's weird? It's funny. It's interesting. We'll say is if you set up the correct criteria, you can actually get on a solid cruise control routine.
Yes, you can.
So, bro, I was working out, and I work out outside, and I saw this little centipede. And I was like, oh, teeny tiny centipede, like maybe 1 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch.
Was he having leg day?
It was during my leg day, by the way. So I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's great. You know, he's just a random centipede on the cement right here. So I looked close, and it wasn't a centipede. It was 2 ants connected to each other going. And I was like, bro, what are these 2 ants doing? Bro, they don't even know what they're doing.
Face to face?
No, like
in a train.
Like a little train, yeah.
Okay.
But it was like 2 of them, like they were lost from a bigger train or something, and they were just sort of going. And so you know, you get to thinking, you know, when you get no one else was around. So I'm thinking, I was like, brother, what are these ants thinking right now? They're probably not thinking anything. One ant's just exploring. The other ant's like, well, this is where we're going. And they kind of have like just this automatic what's in front of their face. That's what they're doing. You know, I'm following this guy, and this guy, I don't even know what he's doing, but it doesn't matter. I'm following this guy. It doesn't matter. I haven't thought beyond that kind of a thing. And they're going in perfect unison. Like literally when one would curve, the other one would curve, right? They're like doing the exact same thing. So it's like right in front of your face. Only the stuff in front of your face you pay attention to. That's your routine. So if you're on automatic, you have no goal. You'd be probably just like these ants just running around doing what's in front of you. And I'm sure, I don't know, I can't read ants' minds. You know that about me. So I'm sure that but I'm sure the one, especially the one in the back, was kind of like, hey, kind of doing it, you know, kind of doing what he thinks he's supposed to be doing. You know, he's like, oh, we're going here, then I guess we're going here, you know, kind of a thing. So it's like that's the same mindset as just doing no strategy, only tactics. It's like, what do I feel like? Oh, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. What sounds good? You know, you hear that. What sounds good to eat right now? Bruh, that should matter a lot less than what is good to eat for you right now, given, you know, what you're trying to do or whatever, what you're trying not to do
100%.
A lot of the time.
I used to say this in the teams. People don't care about a problem until it punches them in the face, which is like there's some big problem creeping up and they don't care about it until it punches them in the face. And they're like, oh, damn, we got this problem. That's number one. And number two, just on what you're saying, there's been a couple crashes with, I want to say the Blue Angels. You know, you're familiar with we'll have to ask Dave Burke about
Good
this.
Deal.
Yeah. There's been crashes where they basically, the lead guy makes a mistake, and like the other aircraft just follow them into the ground.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's, a terrible situation, but yeah, you got to be like heads up and looking around and thinking about where you're going. And it's very easy. Like you said, you set up such good parameters and change your instincts as a human to where your instincts are correct and you can kind of be on cruise control. Yeah. Yes, you can.
Yep.
You can. I actually have a decent amount of things like that in my life that are. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.